Hey there, Unity Center, New York. Karen Drucker here. I want you to sing along with me today. So in case anyone ever told you you couldn't sing, you hear that? You are now healed. That is my magic singing tool. So here's how the song goes. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. That's it. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Sing that with me now. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. You got it. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Now the next part goes like this. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Got it? All right, how about some peace? I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release. I feel that sweet release of peace. You got it. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Then you go peace, 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 peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. I feel such peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. You're sounding very good. I start my, how about joy? Day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused. Everything I do is infused with joy. But here's what I want you to do when you get to infuse. You have to go infused. Can you do that? Practice with me once. Infused. Very good. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Very good. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Good. Joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Are you feeling joyful? Joy, joy, joy. All right, let's go back to love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. Sing that again. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love and joy and peace is love.
Thank you, Karen Drucker, for that wonderful opening song. And welcome to the Unity Center of New York City's live stream service. I'm Justin Epstein, author of the top-selling book, Super You, and minister of the Unity Center of New York City. Welcome. We have a wonderful service for you today, and some great music with Karen Drucker and Burns Kristy, and a message on the weapon of nonviolence. We're going to get going here with a song that we've actually sung several times recently, and so we should know the words pretty well. And it's Yes, Lord, Yes. Again, as we sing Yes, Lord, Yes to your will and to your way, I will trust you and obey. Remember, God's will is for your highest good and the highest good of everyone. So it's not suffering and pain and all that stuff. So we're essentially saying yes to our highest good, more health, more abundance, more love and harmony, more peace, more fulfillment. So let's get going and let's sing together, Yes, Lord, Yes.
I say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust you and obey. When your spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes.
Few community highlights for you. Please like us on Facebook, and when you do, you'll receive notices about the meditations, the mindful moments that are done live during the week. And also you can program on Fridays, you can program it to remind you about the live stream that happens every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Also at the bottom of the home page on Facebook is a link that will take you to the UnityCenterNYC.com website, where if you'd like to receive information about things that are coming up at the Unity Center or other inspiration, just put in your email there and you'll begin to receive our weekly newsletter. Also, if you would like to watch the live stream on YouTube or have an access to a bunch of other inspirational videos, plus we're creating new content every week, then go to YouTube and put Justin Epstein in the search bar, and then like the page and subscribe, and you'll have access to a whole library of inspirational videos as well as new content that we come out with. And we are making available all the videos that we've done are on Facebook, they're on YouTube through the New York Pause. So we hope that you will enjoy them. I'd like to take a moment now for our prosperity celebration. We call it a celebration because what we focus our attention and energy on increases. That's a principle. And we take this moment to appreciate the abundance that's in our life, to appreciate the presence and activity of Spirit in our lives. And if you believe in what we're about and what we're doing and the positive messages that we're bringing to people and the encouragement and hope, then we hope you will support this ministry and join us in blessing our gifts now. We'd like to do that with a blessing, knowing that as we give, we receive in life. As we give, we don't have less, but rather we open up a way through which more good flows through us. As the way shower Jesus the Christ said, the kingdom of God is within you. And so as we give, he said, as you give, you receive. So it's in the very giving that we receive a greater flow of abundance into our life. So we thank you in advance for your donations and your support. And let's bless those gifts now, knowing that divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, and so it is. Amen. Now, if you're on the website, you can see the donate button, or if you're on Facebook, you can press the Learn More button, or look in the comment section on YouTube or Facebook, and that'll tell you, will lead you in how you can donate. You can also open another window so you can continue to watch while you donate. Thank you for your support. And now we're going to prepare for a guided meditation. And one way that we lead into this meditation, which is a time of quieting the mind, relaxing the body, letting go of tension, stress, and strain, and tuning in to that presence and activity of Spirit that's expressing in and as you, just like the ocean is expressing as a wave. That's one of the key ideas in the unity teachings, is that Jesus was not about his divinity, but about your divinity. That he said, the works that I do, you can do, and greater works than these. Because I go to the Father within, and you can go to the Father within, or whatever name you refer to that presence. So a guided meditation is a time to tune into that Spirit within us. And we like to do it with a kind of a repetitive song that's fairly slow to focus our mind. And so now we invite you to sing aloud and prepare for meditation as in the song, In the Silence.
In the stillness of this moment, there's peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. So take a deep breath. Sing this one. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment, there is peace. Take another deep breath. Let's claim I am peace. In the stillness of this moment, I am peace. I am peace. In the stillness of this moment, I am peace. I am peace, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment I am peace. I am peace. So let's end with I am love. In the stillness of this moment, and in the stillness of this moment, I am love. I am love. In the stillness of this moment, I am love. I am love, and I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment, I am love. I am peace. I am peace. I am joy. I am joy. I am love. I am love.
Thank you, Karen, for leading us in that. And now let us take a moment to sit upright as is comfortable for our body. And let's take a nice, long, cleansing, deep breath. Just let your body relax. And now we're going to consciously relax the body, sending the message to the feet, the calves, the thighs. Relax and let go. Relax and let go. Let your hands and fingers be relaxed. Allow your abdomen and stomach to let go and be relaxed. Relax your shoulders and your chest. Relax the muscles in your back, the upper, the middle, and the lower back. Become aware of your face, relaxing the muscles in your face and relaxing the muscles in your neck, the front, the back, the sides. From the top of your head to the bottoms of your feet, letting go, letting go, letting go. Relaxing. As your body relaxes, your mind can become calm and quiet, and we can begin to tune in to that presence and activity that's expressing and being us. Now notice any parts of your body that may need to relax a little more deeply. Perhaps in scanning your body, you notice some part that's a little tense. Gently tense and relax that part of your body. And just let go. Letting go, letting go, letting go. Good. And now let's bring our focus from the body, which we've taken time to relax. And now we're going to keep that body as still as we can for the next few minutes, so that our mind can become as still as possible. Remember what Spirit spoke through the psalmist when he said, "Be still and know that I am God." So let's focus our concentration, our attention on our breathing. Just watch your breath for a few minutes. Feel the breath moving in and out of your nasal passages. And when your mind wanders, just bring it back to the breathing. And now as your breath flows in, mentally think the word peace. And as the breath flows out, the word full. Peace on the inhalation, full on the exhalation. Watching your breath and mentally thinking those words. Peace on the inhalation, full on the exhalation. And again, just bring your mind back to the breath and back to the affirmation over and over and over if you need to. And now, take a nice, long, deep breath. Letting go of watching the breath and the affirmation. And just rest in the stillness now. Just become aware of what you might be feeling within your heart. Just be present to whatever feelings might be there at the moment. Not trying to change them. but just be present to whatever is there. And now imagine your heart being filled with light, the light of peace. And let's project that light to our friends and family and loved ones. And let us project that light to planet Earth, to all the animals and plants and flowers and all of the earth, and to every person, including all people everywhere. We include the family of George Floyd and friends, and we include all the health care workers and all people everywhere. We just know that each one is a spiritual being. Spirit is being and expressing as each one. So each person has access to light, love, peace, wisdom, power, and all good. And we feel that peace, that love, that light radiating forth from us, enveloping and enfolding the earth and all people everywhere. And we are an uplifting influence right now. Where two or more are gathered, there's great power. And we thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this time together and for the power and impact of this prayer that we're doing together. And now we bring our awareness back to our body, wiggling toes, wiggling fingers, feeling the chair beneath us, moving our body, and opening our eyes. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, Ron Kristy, for that beautiful instrumental called Homecoming. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus was approached by a mob with clubs and swords. And when one of the guards laid a hand on Jesus, his disciple Peter pulled out a sword and cut off the ear of the slave of the high priest. And Jesus admonished him. He said, "He who lives by the sword will die by the sword." Gandhi said that there were 4 levels to nonviolence. He said the first level was that of the coward. The coward doesn't do anything about injustice, doesn't try to change anything because he or she does not respect the dignity of life, does not understand it, does not know it, doesn't respect it, so does nothing. The next level is the violent resistor. He said that this person resists injustice through violence. He said this is much better than the coward because this person respects the dignity of life. However, there's still fear, and the violent resistor would much rather take someone else's life than give up his own. The third level is the person who resists nonviolently because they don't know any other alternative. But there's still fear. The highest level of nonviolence is the person who is nonviolent in thought, word, and deed. This is what Gandhi taught and lived and demonstrated for all of us. He said this highest level of nonviolence in thought, word, and deed is someone who is fearless and courageous. They will give up their life in the name of being loving, nonviolent, and that's the highest level. Now, no matter what level we might be in, let us aspire to that highest level. We have to operate where we are, but let us aspire to the highest and accept ourselves where we are, acknowledge where we are, and just try to take a step in the general direction. Non-violence is called ahimsa in the yogic tradition and is a very important part of spiritual growth. It's a very important aspect for being able to meditate deeply and for knowing and expressing our spiritual nature. And it's a journey, an ongoing journey that we're always in the process of perfecting, of practicing. And I'd like to share some steps today for how we can grow in that journey. First, realize that violence breeds more violence. When Jesus said, "He who lives by the sword dies by the sword," I believe he meant that when you're violent, you're going to attract violence. An angry attitude is going to attract anger. I remember one time, a friend of mine were having an argument about something in the car. She operated on a very different idea of time management than I did. And we were running a little late, and we got into a little argument in the car. And when we came to a stop at a merging part, getting off the interstate, merging, we came to a stop and bam, hit right in the rear of the car. Now, I can't help but to suspect that maybe our consciousness had something to do with that. Opened us up to that experience. I don't know, but I thought it was really interesting that it happened. But a person who is violent in thought, word, and action can't possibly create harmony and peace in their life. He said that as we sow, we reap. So even just reaping it in our physical body, person who has got a lot of hypertension and aggression and so on, well, that's hard on the body also. The heart suffers, and the functions of the body suffer. So truly, violence is detrimental, not only to others, but to ourselves. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Through violence you may murder the liar, but you cannot murder the lie, nor establish the truth. Through violence you may murder the hater, but you do not murder hate. In fact, violence merely increases hate." So it goes. Returning violence for violence multiplies violence, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Violence breeds more violence. Next, let's not fill our mind with violence. There's a lot of violence in the media. Have you noticed? It's pretty challenging to find a TV series or a movie that doesn't have violence in it. In fact, statistics show that children are exposed to 200,000 violent acts. In fact, 16,000 murders by the time they're 18 years of age. Now imagine what impact that has on a child's psyche, on their emotions, on their behaviors. It's got to have an impact. We've heard you are what you eat. Well, you also are what you watch. I believe it has an impact on us. If it's affecting us emotionally, then it must be impacting us in some way. Sports psychologists know that visualization impacts an athlete's behavior. Well, what if you're seeing violent images and watching that? It's got to have an impact. Recently, I was watching a TV series with a friend, and we watched like 3 episodes of it. And after the 3rd episode, we were like, enough. And it was sort of supposed to be funny. The main character's behavior was, she was kind of caustic and sarcastic, and she was sometimes violent. And I know to the point that it was supposed to be funny. And sometimes we did laugh. But after 3 episodes, we were like, and they were on different days, we both came to the conclusion, let's not watch it anymore. It just gave us a sort of a, use a childish kind of word, an icky feeling. I don't know how else to say it, but just not a good feeling inside. Even though it was an intriguing show, even though we laughed, we just didn't feel good about it. And I think what we watch impacts us, and we've got to be choosy about what we watch. And that's not always easy to do. I know I tend to like movies that are like thrillers, and also I tend to like documentaries and also movies that are about true things that have happened. I was raised Jewish, as some of you know, and I was exposed to the Holocaust early on in my life. And so there's been an interest in movies about what happened during World War II and the Holocaust and the Nazis and all this kind of thing. And I've discovered that one can watch too much of that stuff, and it will have an impact on one's mood. So I think it's important that we take a look at what we're exposing ourselves to and realize that we can change the channel. I have a friend after 9/11. My friend shared with me a story about how her husband is Muslim and her in-laws are Muslim, and she adores her in-laws. They're wonderful people. But after 9/11, there were a lot of shows about terrorism. And she said that she found herself angry with Muslims. Even though she knew her husband was a wonderful person, her in-laws were great people, she noticed that the impact of watching those shows was having on her behaviors and on her attitudes. And so let's be choosy about what we're filling our minds with on a regular basis. You know, it's one thing to keep up on the news, which I'm all for, I do myself, but it's another to be so intrigued by it and addicted to it that we're constantly filling our minds with it. It is affecting our moods, and it will affect our behavior. I just wonder, you know, what an impact, for instance, that TV show I was watching, what impact it would have on a person's behavior watching a bunch of sarcasm all the time. Maybe next time we find ourselves being sarcastic, because that's what we're exposing ourselves. Not only you are what you eat, but you are what you think. Develop soul force. The word soul force is a term that Dr. King and Mahatma Gandhi both used, talking about the importance of your spiritual growth and development in being nonviolent. And I'd like to talk about how we can develop soul force. First of all, we can do that by stopping the violence that's happening inside of us. We can get rid of bombs, we can get rid of nuclear weapons, we can get rid of automatic rifles. But as we all know, violence starts within the individual. And so we can get rid of the bombs, but that doesn't stop people's fear and insecurity and the stuff going on inside of them. Gandhi once said, "I have only 3 enemies. My favorite enemy, the one most easily influenced for the better, is the British Empire. My second enemy, the Indian people, is far more difficult. But my most formidable opponent is a man named Mohandas K. Gandhi. With him, I seem to have very little influence." We've got to deal with what's inside of us in order to be nonviolent. We've got to deal with whatever's going on inside that could be contributing to our attitudes, our behaviors toward other people. Got to start there. And one way we can do that is to be present to ourselves. What are we feeling? Are there emotions that we are ignoring, that we don't want to look at? How do we feel about letting ourselves be present to anger that might be inside of us? Are we afraid that if we feel the anger, we might do something violent? Well, not likely. In fact, what happens when we are present to what we're feeling is it tends to dissipate. We tend to have a softer heart. It's important that we allow ourselves to feel what's there so that we're not afraid of any kind of emotion, so that we're not afraid of anger, we're not afraid of fear, we're not afraid of anything that we can possibly feel, and that we don't judge ourselves for it, but we're present to it. And when you're present to it, you develop compassion for yourself. And that's the key, developing compassion for whatever's there, to feel it, to let ourselves be with it. And then it will pass. It will be transformed. And so it's very important to be present to ourselves. Another way to develop soul force is to develop our spiritual strength. Gandhi used to take 1 day a week for silence. And there were some big things going on in India. There was a lot to deal with in his life, but he wouldn't let anything interfere with his time of being silent. He would just write notes. In fact, the Indian sage, Yogananda, visited Gandhi on a day of silence, and Gandhi communicated through writing, through notes. It was in taking a time of silence that he was able to tune into that wellspring of peace and power that was within him. And so he always kept that sacred. Dr. Karen Beatty, who was the warden of a prison system in India, was concerned that the prisoners were not being treated like human beings. They weren't being given the treatment they needed. And a guard approached her and told her about how a form of meditation had helped him so much that he had transformed through practicing meditation. So Dr. Beatty wanted to offer that to the prisoners. So they offered a 10-day silent retreat for 1,200 prisoners, Christians, Muslims, Hindus. All took part in that retreat. Well, when the instructor walked in, he told the guards to take off their handcuffs, take off the mantles, and the guard refused. They said, no, if we do that, then they'll kill us. And the instructor said, well, if anyone tries to do anything harmful, then shoot them. So they took off the handcuffs, etc., and not one person was ever shot. In fact, things went so well that they started having these silent retreats twice a month. Dr. Beatty said this. She said, the meditation program actually changes people. It made my prisoners weep. They looked within themselves and they had seen the feeling of revenge. They had seen anger. They saw the disrespect and hurt that they caused society, and they wanted to be different. Practicing being nonviolent in thought, word, and deed changes people. In fact, Dr. King was a young minister when Rosa Parks refused to sit in the back of the bus. And next thing you know, he found himself leading the civil rights movement. Up to that point, nonviolence was more of a philosophy. But when he began to lead the civil rights movement, it became very important to him. It became part of his behavior and part of his being by practicing it. He said, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. Violence breeds more violence. Let's not fill our mind with violence. Let's develop soul force. And then realize that nonviolence is the way of the strong. Jesus was a very powerful spiritual being. He had access to the infinite energy and force that was within him, the very creative force he had access to. When Pontius Pilate was asking him questions and Jesus wouldn't comment, Pilate said, do you not realize I have the power to crucify you? And Jesus said, basically, I'm only here because of God. If I wanted to, I could be out of here in a moment, essentially. When the crowd came to take Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, they asked him, are you Jesus? And he said, I am. And in one of the versions of the scripture, it says that his words knocked the guards down. Wow. That's got to reel that power back in, Jesus. It was getting out of hand there for a moment. You see, Jesus could have destroyed his enemies, but it wasn't within him to do that. That's why on the cross he could say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He was only tuned into love and compassion. But he had great strength and courage. He could have said no to that mission, but he didn't. He was courageous. And on another occasion, when they were looking for Jesus, he slipped through the crowd unnoticed because it wasn't yet time for him to be arrested. So when they came to arrest him, he just submitted because that was part of the plan, which he predicted. Gandhi in Bombay, there was an incident where the native Indian soldiers were killing British. And Churchill allegedly threatened to bomb India to smithereens. Whoops, kind of like I just did my lectern here. And Gandhi wrote Churchill and said, no, don't do that. You don't need to. I'll talk to them. So Gandhi went among the Indian soldiers with bullets flying all over the place. And he said to them, peace be unto you. You'll not gain freedom by killing a few British people. Conquer them by the greater force of love. Jesus, Gandhi, Dr. King, we're strong people. Nonviolence is the way of the strong. And nonviolence is active, not passive. Dr. King said that it's passive in that you're not inflicting violent aggression on people. But it's active in using the mind and the emotions to show the other side or the other person or people that there's a better way. There needs to be a different way. There's thinking and planning and strategizing. That's what we saw in the 383-day bus boycott. Can you imagine 383 days of inconveniencing themselves and putting up with all the hatred inflicted on them? And then time in jail, demonstrations, sit-ins in Birmingham and Selma. All of that. And we see in the recent protests, it's been heartening to see so many people protesting peacefully. Yes, there's been some violence, but the majority of people have been peaceful. They've been peaceful protests, and happily changes have happened. And we hope more changes will happen. I was reading an article in the paper about comparing these protests with what happened in 1992 with Rodney King and protesting the police brutality back then. And back then there were 60 people killed. This time there haven't been any deaths from the protesting in LA. And there's been really smart strategies as well, the article was saying, that they've done the protesting in wealthy neighborhoods and they've done the protesting downtown where the government is, because that would get the attention of the people who are in power, letting them feel and know and wake up to the pain and the suffering that people are experiencing. So we have witnessed and are witnessing peaceful protests, nonviolence, that's getting results, that's strategic and smart. So nonviolence is active, not passive. And then conquer the enemy with the weapon of love. Gandhi was stabbed by one of his enemies, and he was encouraged to sue that person, to take action in that way, and he refused. He said, instead, I will send him love. Well, when the message got back to that person, what Gandhi had said, he was so moved that he became a follower of Gandhi. Gandhi, in fact, said that the quintessence of true religion is to be a friend to your enemy. Can you imagine being a friend to your enemy? That takes tremendous soul force, doesn't it? And spiritual growth and inner strength. But if he did it, we can do it. It's possible. It's possible for us. Yogananda told the story of 10 brothers, and one of the younger brothers pulled out a sword in anger, threatening the other brothers. And the eldest brother had to make a choice, to either slay the younger brother and protect the other brothers, or to stand in front of him with a frame of mind of love And so he chose the latter. And the younger brother struck the older brother on the arm with the sword. And then he broke down sobbing. He broke his sword. He patched up his older brother's arm, and he apologized to the rest of the brothers. This brother, the oldest brother, had melted the heart of his younger brother with love. Jesus said, when someone strikes you on one side of the cheek, turn to him the other as well. Was he saying that we're to be a doormat? I don't think so. I think what he was saying is, turn from that part of your nature that wants to strike back. Turn from that conditioning that we have that wants to retaliate, to return an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, which, as Gandhi said, would only leave us all blind and toothless. Turn from that side of our nature to our higher nature, to that nature that is love, to that nature that is peace, to that nature that wants harmony, that wants all people to live in happiness and joy and harmony and love, and knows that violence is not the way. Turn to that nature within you that is one with the Creator. The Buddha was a great example of that. One man heard about how the Buddha was always peaceful and loving and calm. And so he traveled a long distance to be in the presence of the Buddha. Day after day, that man would criticize the Buddha, would antagonize the Buddha. And the Buddha was calm and peaceful. Till one day the man was just exhausted. He was like, I can't. How are you able to be so peaceful and calm and loving when all I've given you is criticism and antagonism and just been very difficult? And the Buddha said this. He said, if someone offers you a gift and you do not accept that gift, to whom does the gift belong? Wow. I'd like you to join me in affirming this statement. I choose to be peaceful and nonviolent, regardless of the offerings directed at me. I choose to be peaceful and nonviolent, regardless of the offerings directed of me. That's a good intention, isn't it? Join me in knowing that together. I choose to be peaceful and nonviolent, regardless of the offerings directed at me. Violence breeds more violence. Don't fill your mind with violence. Develop soul force. Nonviolence is the way of the strong. It's active, not passive. Conquer the enemy with the mighty weapon of love. And lastly, be courageous and stand for what is right. The stadium was filled with more than 100,000 people wearing swastikas, whistling and jeering hatred toward the black and Jewish contestants when Jesse Owens stepped into the Olympic arena. He was the son of an Alabama cotton picker and the grandson of a slave. He had a long jump record that lasted and was not broken for 25 years. It was 1936. The Summer Olympics were in Berlin, and Hitler was hosting. Hitler, in fact, left when it was time for Jesse Owens to perform the broad jump because he wouldn't watch a black athlete compete. In his first attempt to qualify in the preliminary trials, Jesse went a half foot over the takeoff board. He tried a second time and failed again. He had only one more chance. 100,000 people wanted him to fail. Jesse was coming apart at the seams. Then he felt a hand on his arm. It was his competitor, the German athlete named Luz Long, whom Hitler adored as the model of Aryan supremacy. Luz said to Jesse, "You must jump. You must qualify. Remeasure your steps. Take off 6 inches behind the foul board. Jump as hard as you can." Jesse qualified on that jump. Jesse Owens and Luz Long began a friendship that lasted after the 1936 Olympics were over. Jesse took home 4 gold medals, including the broad jump, beating out his German friend. Jesse Owens, in his own words, said of his German friend, "After Lewis failed in his last attempt to beat me, he leaped out of the pit, raced to my side to congratulate me. Then he walked toward the stands, pulling me with him, while Hitler was glaring. Held up my hand and shouted to the gigantic crowd, 'Jesse Owens! Jesse Owens! Jesse Owens!'" Love is greater than hate. Use the weapon of nonviolence.
Okay, I want you to dance around a little bit on this one. Every day I say I love my life. Every day. That's my spiritual practice. How I start my day is the way my day is gonna be. How I start my day is the way my day is gonna be. And it's up to me to be grateful. It's up to me to be kind. And it's up to me to be thankful. And it's up to me, it's up to me. All right, now this is when you get to dance around your room a little bit. Because no one can see you. I'm going to teach this to you. I want you to sing out loud now. But first you have to dance. You have to get up. All right, here's your part. You say, every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Every day when I wake, there's a choice I can make to be glad or be sad, forgive or stay mad. It's all up to me. What I focus on will be in my life. In my life. Here we go. Every day I wake up and I say, today, and you go like this, I love my life. Can you do that? Every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. And when clouds fill my sky, I know I'll get by. When I see all that's right, the dark turns to light. I give thanks and I say, this is my lucky day. I'm alive. I'm alive. Oh, every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Oh yes, I love it. Just say that with me. Just say, I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little part here. It goes like this. Love it, yes I love it, love it, love it, yes I love it, love my life. Got it? Love it, yes I love it, love it, love it, yes I love it, love my life. Sing it again. Oh yeah, love it, yes I love it, love it, love it, yes I love it, love my life. Love it, yes I love it, love it, love it, yes I love it, love my life. And every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Every day I say, every day I wake up and I say, today you say, love my life. I don't hear you. Every Every day I wake up and I say, you say,
Today, love my life.
I really love my life. Every day I wake up and I say, today I love my life. Every day I say,
Every day,
oh yeah, I really love it. I just keep claiming what I want. Every day, that's what I say now. Can you say that? I love my life. Every day I wake up and I say, I love my life. Good singing and dancing. I saw you out there.
Thank you, Karen Drucker, for that beautiful song. And thank you, Burns and Kristy, for being part of this service today. It was so great having you all, Karen and Burns and Kristy. It was awesome. I see each one of you now going forward, centered and poised in the spirit within you, knowing that you are a spiritual being, that that's your true nature, that your true nature is love and peace and power, that as a spiritual being like Jesus, you can draw upon the power of God within you, that you can be nonviolent in thought, word, and action. And you can contribute to the peace and harmony in the world by responding from your highest nature. Yes, taking action. Yes, being active, strategizing, doing whatever needs to be done, but doing it from that highest place that is within you. And then when we fail to do that, brushing off the dust off our feet, forgiving ourselves, learning from the experience, and then making the effort again. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for showing us the way, for filling us with your love and your peace, and for guiding us into letting our light shine in this world that so much needs it. And so it is. Amen. Let us join together in affirming the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. And now we're going to sing the peace song. And I encourage you to sing it with us. And again, it's affirming that peace begins with you. And it begins with me. When everyone is living from a place of peace, we'll have a peaceful world, won't we? Thanks for joining us for this live stream. Have a great rest of the day and week.
Please sing along. Let